Here we go. So super excited to be here with everybody. My name is Gabe Macaluso. I am the Director of Customer Success here at Omnisend. And we're going to kind of just roll right into the presentation. And, I love speaking and having these opportunities to connect with all of you in the space because Omnisend is bootstrapped. We're a small business. We totally understand where you are. So we're going to kick off right away with our new commercial, which I'm super proud of. And hopefully this resonates with a lot of you. So we'll get this playing and then we'll get right into the presentation. All right, well, good thing we have closed captions because I hear you didn't hear audio. Hopefully you hear me speaking and we'll try to get that fixed. But the goal of this is, as we go through, whoops, there we go. So here we go. Gotta love technical difficulties right at the beginning of the presentation. So we'll get all those wiggles out and we'll get right into it. So with Omnisend marketing, email and SMS, this is a great opportunity because you have an engaged audience that's going to be, talking with you right away. So a lot of people every year, it seems to be that we get emails dead, SMS is dead. Is it dead on arrival, especially when we're competing with all of these social media channels? All of the influencers out there are talking about TikTok, live shopping, how do you get on Facebook? How do you get on Instagram? And obviously we spend a lot of time there, really kind of focusing on our social spend and getting engagement there. The great news with email and SMS is we have an opportunity to tell a story. So just like I had you all as a captive audience to watch this commercial, that's hard to do on TikTok because someone's going to scroll through reels, they're going to move really fast, and they have to be engaging and quick to kind of engage with that. Versus email, it automatically starts getting personal. So just some quick examples here. One from Nearly Natural. They're an old client of mine, and they sell artificial plants, but I've given them my phone number to communicate with me, right? That's a personal touch. I've paid my admission to a concert and I'm a captive member of their audience. So they're going to be able to send me these notes, these campaigns. Obviously, this is a generic campaign and they're going to promote to me. And then on the other side, Tommy John, again, you can see the email design is straightforward, simple. The background's not crazy in terms of creating some insane graphic or some crazy lifestyle image. It's text-based on a generic background with a clear, easy call to action. But already these messages, these open rates, these click rates are going to have way higher engagement than any social media post we do unless something goes viral. So email and SMS are going to be your bread and butter and can really, really drive that revenue. And then, of course, 2020 flipped everything on its head, right? So we have COVID, everyone's locked down. And so what do? We create experiences. And what was great for e-commerce companies is no one else had anywhere to shop. So they had to go online. But the brands that really kind of started setting themselves apart are the brands that created a digital experience. And you can do this really, really well through email and SMS, and we'll kind of talk through that. So let's talk about telling the story and making that first good impression. And we can do that through the infamous pop-up, right? So this is where you start that shopper journey. So someone lands on your website, here they are. And if we can capture that email address, we all know what it's like to grab the email list, increase that audience. We have CEOs and owners of our companies that are constantly telling us, hey, you have a list of 50,000 people and that makes me $5,000 every time I send. So that means if I have a list of 100,000, I get $100,000, and it keeps going up, right? Or you keep that relationship going and that prerogative. And of course, if I have 100,000 customers and I can get to 1 million on my list, then that means I can make, all that money all the time, right? And then we have to take a step back because obviously we know contacts are not going to engage with us. We have customer attrition. And so we have to think about all the ways that we can engage with our customers strategically and automated, because we could be a small business. Maybe I'm the owner and I'm also running an email program. So I want things that I can set and forget. So we spend all this money on social media ads. We spend all this, money on PPC, SEO campaigns. We create the perfect content. Someone finally clicks our, little bit.ly link in our Instagram profile, because that's where we told them to click. They come to our site, they shop for 2 seconds, and they leave. And we've lost that. We've lost that contact. We've lost that conversion. Maybe we can do some retargeting through social media ads. Maybe those are going to be successful for us. But if we can get them to volunteer their email address, now we can work through that nurture and we can constantly go with them. So we've got the pop-up. People hate them, but they're successful. And so when you're looking at your pop-up metrics, it should be a 3 to 6% submission rate at a bare minimum. That's really kind of where you want to go. But I love these 3 examples. You've got the one on the left where it's, here's your 10% off. You've got the one in the middle that's no discount, just, hey, be the first to get this. So that's kind of like that exclusivity, join the club. And that's the same thing with Fashion Nova, which obviously is one of the fastest growing brands that we've seen. They've got 11 million Instagram followers, probably more than that now. This pop-up's probably a little bit old. And then people always ask me too, like, what about like the, maybe snarky little, no, I don't like saving money. You have to measure it to your brand voice, because this sets the tone for the whole story that you're going to sell. I also wanted to include the one in the middle and this next one here. I want to include this one in the middle because you don't have to offer a discount. You don't have to offer a discount to get people to go up on your list. And then I get the question too is, can I purchase, rent, or find a list of email addresses? I know this isn't really about the story, but I like to incorporate this in here because I literally saw a conversation in a Facebook group yesterday for a Shopify startup that says, hey, I have this list of 50,000 emails. They're vetted, they're clean, they're great. And people were actually offering to buy it. And it's like, please don't do that. Email already has a bad name. When I tell my family what I do for a living working in Omnisend, they're like, oh, you work for spammers. And it's like, no, everybody that's getting an email on your list should have clearly opted in, whether that's through a checkout process or a pop-up or some other form, like they've opted in to do that. So it can be extremely tempting, especially for executive levels that, don't know this stuff. Do not ever purchase, rent, find a list of email addresses. 1, you're violating law, but 2, your engagement is going to go down. You're going to end up in the spam folder. And if you're not getting your emails to the inbox, and this means the primary tab or the promotions tab, and that's a whole nother topic of conversation we can get into, you're going to see better conversions and those types of things. So make sure your open rate, which is a little bit in question right now because of iOS 15, but your open rate should be in that 10 to 15% rate at a very minimum. If you're seeing below that, it's time to engage, segment your audience, and we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of the presentation. And then complementary branding is actually a great way to increase your email list, especially as we get into holiday. So these are 2 brands that I worked with, MirrorMate and Artist Wall. Unrelated brands, they're not owned by the same parent company, but we just recognized that they had a similar demographic of customer, kind of the DIYers. So I connected them, they developed a relationship. MirrorMate sent an email about Artist Wall to their email list, and Artist Wall directed them directly to a page that's going to have a pop-up on it, like, hey, thanks for coming here. Make sure you get on our list. And Waddell did the same thing for Artist Wall. So, or for MirrorMate, great opportunity here. And we saw a 7 to 10% increase in new email addresses for the length of this campaign. So super, super fun opportunity there. Different creative way. This obviously cost them nothing because they just replaced this campaign in place of a normal campaign that they would have sent out anyway. So super clean, easy strategy and a great way to grow that email list. And then we have the Nomad Life pop-up. Again, just kind of reiterating the fact that you don't have to always offer a discount. So we're going to get back into Nomad Life specifically when we look at the Welcome series. So again, we talked about as we went into COVID and people look for that online experience to go into shopping, how do we set that tone? And Nomad does a great job. So this is the first email in their Welcome series. They've got that 15% off coupon code. I always recommend people in their CTAs to make sure that it's a clear, easy button. One of the best strategies that you can do is go look at your support tickets after you send an email and see what kind of questions is your support team getting. If they're going, I don't know how to apply this coupon code. add a little copy in that says, hey, to get this on your full price item, make sure you copy and paste this code into the thing. Or if you have the ability, like an Omnisend, where it can auto apply that unique discount code, you can say, click here to auto apply to your cart. Those are the simple things that you can implement in your email strategy to reduce support cases and support tickets and make it an overall better shopping experience for your customers. But Nomad does a great job here. The start exploring, big button, always have buttons. Shoppers are lazy and they need to be told what to do. So the more you can tell them exactly what to do to get to that cart and to check out, the better it is. And then of course, Nomad below the fold has things like their story, commitment to product. If this was a heat map of this email, you're going to see the read more and learn more buttons, have dramatically less clicks. But if we looked at the conversion of those people who click from that, it's probably 5 to 10x compared to the people who just click the start exploring button. So again, it's that balance of, are these high quality contacts or are we just looking for volume? I always compare it to a concert. If I'm going to a concert, I'm in the audience. So refer to your email list as an audience. They want to be there. They want to hear from you. And if someone's not opening your email for 6 months or a year or clicking or buying from you, like, kill the dead weight. I know that's terrible. I know that sounds so terrible, like sad. Like, I have a list of 250,000 contacts. I run a segment of people who haven't clicked or purchased in the last 12 months. And all of a sudden my 250,000 list is now 70,000. Oh, it's a gut punch, but you're going to see your open rate's going to go up. Your engagement rate's going to go up. Your revenue is probably going to stay the same or go up anyway, because the people who are purchasing and clicking on your emails are going to continue to purchase and click. I'm not getting an email for 2 years from a brand, and on the 700th email at the end of my second year, I'm like, you know what? Now's the time to purchase. So be very smart about that. Sprinkle it out. Change your cadence, those types of things. But love this Nomad email in terms of creating an experience. This next one I love because this is justice, right? And what I love about this is the story and experience they're creating is so driven by who their buyer is, not their shopper, right? So anything about the Justice brand, if you don't know this, I have a 10-year-old daughter. She is a prime candidate for the Justice brand. It's like 8-year-olds to like preteens, maybe teenagers that want that girly stuff, right? And so, but their buyer is the mom or a dad. And like, I don't need to see lifestyle images of 8 to 12-year-old girls loving life, laughing, whatever, right? All I want is, I've signed up for this email. I just want the quickest path to shopping and get it done, because it's not what I'm interested in, it's what my daughter's interested in. So I love this email. It's simple, it's quick, it's here's the button, shop now. There's no crazy graphic, crazy imagery. And then, but they do talk about their mission, which to me as a dad is important, because it's like, if my daughter wants to buy stuff from this, like, I want to make sure that what they're standing for is like women empowerment, encouraging them to grow strong and be smart about life. And so this is a great way to kind of talk about that self-love and positivity. Awesome. I'm bought in as a dad to say, yes, my daughter can shop here. She wants some money to go to the mall when COVID's over. Yeah, she can go there. I'm cool with it. So this is a great sort of email, but also really smart on their part in that, again, big button, simple, make it as easy as possible for old people that don't understand technology, but also get across their mission. And that's, again, just, you're creating a story, you're creating an experience to get those buyers engaged. This email I love because it doesn't sell anything. And so what Shoe Mall here is doing is saying, hey, we're going to send you the coupon. We're going to remind you to use the coupon. We probably have some welcome emails with product recommendations. Maybe we want you to manage your preferences and tell us, like, are you male, female? Are you shopping for kids? Are you shopping orthotics? There's all kinds of different verticals within the shoes that they can start segmenting on and making sure dynamic content fits. But what's great about this is it cross-pollinates, right? So again, we talk about how much money we spend on social media spend, and the ROI is, maybe 1.5 is like, whoa, that's great social ad spend. Email, you should be making 40 to 1 ROI. So this is a great opportunity to say, hey, we spend a lot on social, emails, great revenue. Let's build trust in our brand. Let's provide social proof. Maybe we're doing user-generated content on these channels. It also allows us to start seeing where our demographic lives and cater the content on those different social media channels, depending on who follows us and what channels. Because, time and time again, you'll hear people that say, hey, the older generation's on Facebook, then the next generation's on Instagram. Shoe Mall, hopefully they have a TikTok by now. But like, TikTok's going to be, continuing to grow, continue to be involved in there. There's a whole series of grandmas on TikTok and grandpas on TikTok teaching people what to do. So, definitely look at TikTok and hire an expert if you need to. little shout out to our friends at Hawk Media. They're good at that stuff. And then of course you have Pinterest, which is going to be another demographic in terms of how do we market the content that's important to our buyers so that we can continue to engage with them in multiple channels. Key thing here is we're still creating that experience and we're creating a storyboard of the journey we want our customer to go to so that they can be a loyalist and they can come back time and time again. All right, so they're on our site, they're shopping, and we can do the nurture campaign. So abandoned browse is one of my favorites. This is top of funnel. It's not going to be the highest performing email in terms of revenue, but these are emails that you should have in place specifically for holiday. Forever 21, love their email because if you look above the fold, the first thing they have is take 20% off, right? If I walk into Target and I looked at something online and the Target person stops me and says, hey, you looked at these 5 products online? And I'm like, I don't want any of those 5 products. Like, cool, bye. Right? Like, no, I want to go explore the store. And so Forever 21 is very smart in creating this experience of saying, hey, we know you looked at some things and we've saved those for you, but really the journey is like, shop whatever you want. Forever21.com is your oyster. And you can save 20% on everything. The 5 things you've already looked at. But if you don't like those things anymore because you were just kind of checking them out and whatever, you still have all this other opportunity to check things out. So very smart by Forever 21 here. Abandoned cart emails have the best order rate over Cyber Weekend. The adoption rate of abandoned cart is still only like 60%, which is crazy to me. If you're an e-commerce business and you don't have an abandoned cart, you're literally just leaving money on the table. You can set up something, the slogan is used by Facebook, but it's done, not perfect. Getting out a single reminder will generate incremental revenue for you today. If you're on Shopify, you're on BigCommerce, they have native functionalities in there. Omnisend's great because our abandoned cart functionality is abandoned cart. So if I'm identified, so I click through an email, you know who I am. Anytime I add a product to my cart, you're now tracking my behavior across the site. The native functionalities are just abandoned checkout, which is farther down the funnel, higher intent to buy, but just key things to remember there. So one takeaway from today, if above all takeaways, make sure you set up an abandoned cart or at least abandoned checkout, and you will see an increase in revenue year over year. I promise you before the end of the year. But here's some examples. Again, the story that you're telling doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to fit with the brand voice, and creating that experience. So Buck Mason, outdoor brand, super easy image, jump back in. Notice that this email has 1 product and 4 buttons. People like buttons. Tell them what to do, create the experience, tell them what to do, get in the shop, jump back in and finish it. And then, again, at the bottom, they have a come visit us. This is important, right? If you have store locations, you don't have to get fancy with dynamic content. You don't have to get fancy with IP address, geolocation. Something is always better than nothing. And so you can always go back and optimize. And then they do a great job here too with their guarantee, just again, to validate, hey, we're a real brand. We're going to take care of you. Yes, this is a higher ticket item, but we're here to support you. So if you have questions, come check us out. And then Chubbies. What I love about this email is they're fun, right? Chubbies is a great brand. They've kind of done a good job of kind of changing the narrative of what a brand can be, right? They recognize their demographic, they recognize their buyer, and that's the story that they went with. But what else I love about this email is that as merchants, as small business owners, we can angst and get exhausted over the idea of what an email has to look like. And we're afraid to click send if it's not perfect. And if you look at the section of what was actually left in the cart, there's no formatting there. It's just the default product block. And that's okay because this email works and it works really well for them. The other thing I want to call out is the season's bestsellers. Now, Chubbies, they can absolutely have a recommendation engine generating these products for you. If you're not to that point and you don't want to pay for an additional app, or you're scared about using dynamic content, that can absolutely be a static product block. And you just have to tell the story of what you want people to believe. So if it's, if I'm the face of the brand and I'm the merchant and I want to say, hey, here's my favorite picks and here's 6 products. If I want to say these are the season's bestsellers and I'm going to pick the 6 products that I have the most inventory of collecting dust in the back, do it, because those products being featured are going to drive additional orders of those products so I can clear inventory. And of course, you can go dynamically. We've got those product blocks in there to do bestsellers, newest arrivals, or even like dynamic recommendations around people who browse this buy that kind of thing. You can get really, really deep and nitty gritty into it, or you can just make it up. And that's the beauty of marketing. And then South Moon Under, again, simple lifestyle image, one product. Here's some additional products. Love their little question box at the bottom. But notice they're not featuring what product was left. It's just make sure you get back to the cart and finish your order. And then I like to talk and I get really excited about this. So I throw in a random picture of my dogs so I can take a drink and breathe for a second. All right, let's keep going. All right, so post-purchase. Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming soon. We've also got Gray November. Some people are starting to expand the opportunity of what holiday sending is looking like. We've all seen the news stories about, however many ships are off the coast of California. I talked with a customer just a couple of weeks ago and I was like, hey, like be smart about like, when are you gonna start doing your holiday sales? And they're like, yeah, actually we had a coffee mug coming over from China. The boat turned around. It's not even off the coast of California. And they're like, oh no, we have to change our entire bundle. So they're, thank goodness they kind of already know now rather than saying, yeah, it's gonna be here and it's not. I know I've already started Christmas shopping, one, because I like to budget, but two, also because I'm not sure what inventory levels are going to look like. So super, super important. I've already started seeing brands going, hey, we make everything in America, so we've got no supply chain issues. And that's a way you can go. So just be very, very aware of that and kind of start thinking about that. But I love this product because, again, we talked about, creating the story, creating the narrative, and avoiding support tickets. And so Alala says, hey, you know what? We got your order, which people love. Once people complete their order, they're checking to see, like, did it go through? And they say, hey, we do our best to get it out in 24 days, but it could take 3 business days, which means if it's within 4 days, don't contact our support team to say, hey, where's my order? Because we've already told you this, it's coming, right? And then you can see the rest of the content in the email. Again, nothing crazy with the actual order bits and the products in the middle of the email. It's just, the generic product block, but the message is, hey, we're people, you're people, we're doing our best, be patient with us. So that's extremely, extremely important to watch there. And then Harry's. Harry's does such a good job. If you have not signed up for Harry's emails, they are so smart. So this is actually my order. I actually ordered this. And what's crazy about this is a transactional email. We can get into the nitty gritty of like, it should only be informational. There's a long time, like it can be 80% informational with 20% marketing. So is Harry's kind of skirting what defines a transactional message? Yes. Can everyone get away with it? Okay. I'm not going to commit to that because I don't want anyone to like say Gabe said we could do this, but they do exactly what the grocery stores do. This is an impulse buy, right? So I've signed up for a subscription. I'm going to get blades every month. And the first thing they sell me is like, hey, sell this thing so your blades can last longer. I'm not going to cancel my subscription. I'm still going to get them at the same current rate. So they're still going to get all their money. And now they've upsold me. Super, super smart that that's their main call to action. And then, of course, they give me the rest of the information there. And then shipping confirmation, Etsy, everyone loves the progress bar. If you can do the progress bar and you've got the technology to do it, absolutely check out do the progress bar. People love that. Again, it avoids support cases because it's very clear, right? But they also put in there, hey, if you need to contact the seller, here's the link to do it. And of course, then you have all the cross sells, you have the product review. So all those things are great and really smart to continue to drive additional orders. And then repeat. So I love these because these are the buybacks, the bounce backs. People always say that you're most likely to purchase from a brand immediately after you purchase. So Crocs has something really, really smart. Hey, you just bought this thing. Hey, if you buy again, we'll give you $15 off. Really smart because we can see a lot in our trends that if I can convert you to a first-time purchaser, a second-time purchaser, your likelihood of being a third or fourth-time purchaser goes way up because you've already had that experience multiple times. It becomes familiar with you. That's why we all buy and shop on Amazon because it's familiar, it's easy, and we understand that process versus buying from a new direct-to-consumer product the first time can be a little nerve-wracking. Do I trust this brand? So if you can get me to buy twice, okay, now it's habit, now I'm familiar with it, I can come back and buy again. And then if you're in any consumable product whatsoever, any at all, doing refill reminders. So obviously protein powders are some of the easiest ones to do, or food products, because it's, hey, this is a 30-day supply. It's been 25 days since you've purchased. hey, friendly reminder, it's time to come back and buy again. Proactive messaging is always going to work way better than the, hey, we miss you. Maybe we're a little bit desperate for a sale. Like, try to be as proactive as possible. Obviously, you can do re-engagement campaigns at the end. So if someone goes by a long time without purchasing, hey, do you want us to still contact you or not? But huge opportunities here. And then cross-sell. So Adidas and Tarte, both great options. Adidas, they could be selling these same products regardless of what you purchased. They didn't put any information about what you actually bought, but here are some slides. Maybe they had found 3 extra shipping containers of them. We're like, crap, we have this inventory we have to get rid of. So that's what we're going to promote. And then Tarte doing cross sells, right? So you bought this eyeshadow, make sure you buy, the concealer and the, eyelash curler type of thing. All right, and then campaigns. And then before I get to campaigns, there was one quick audience question that did come in. It says, welcome is working for us, but we need help with abandoned cart and browse abandonment. What are the best triggers for abandoned cart? In terms of, what content you should include in that, it's all about driving the purchase, right? So you've got to be smart about that. So make sure you have all your filters set up to make sure that if someone, checks out, they're not getting the abandoned cart messaging. Make sure they're not also getting browse abandonment and abandoned cart. So make sure if someone adds something to the cart, they're kicked off the browse abandonment workflow. And then, it should all be about customer service. You don't have to offer a discount, but hey, we saved your cart for you. Here's our customer support line. If you have a bigger ticket item, make sure you give people access to customer support or a personal care associate, that type of thing. Those are huge. If it's not that, link them to a FAQ page, link them to a forum page, link them to your social media, like community, whatever you're doing, there's tons of opportunities there to kind of create, again, that experience, right? If I have a question about, how my lawnmower works, I know I can go to Lowe's and talk to the guy in the lawn mowing aisle. If I have a question about a suit I buy, I can go back to the menswear store and talk to them about my suit, get it tailored. There's experts. So be the expert for your product and give those people the opportunity, the information they're looking for. So that would be my first message. Hey, you left these things in your cart. We saved them for you. Here's all the contact information. Now, maybe the second email is more about urgency. Hey, inventory is low on this stuff. We can't keep this in stock. So if you want to buy this, now's the time, right? And again, call us if you need help. We'll help you get the order. We'll help you secure your order so that you get it before it's gone. And then maybe in the third message is where you offer a small discount that's like, hey, last chance, this stuff is going fast, but because you're a valued customer, we want to give you 10% off. And there's a lot of tools out there where you can like randomize that. So I mean, like I've been in the industry long enough that I usually add stuff to my cart and wait a week. Is that good and bad? It's bad sometimes because sometimes I then think about my purchase and I'm like, no, I don't actually want that even though they're giving me a discount. And then sometimes I wait a week, right? So online purchases tend to be more impulse buys, but don't hesitate to do that. And of course, you can extend it to 4 or 5, 6, 7 messages over several weeks, depending on, again, the volume, the level of AOV on that product and how high value it is. Browse, there's 2 different quick things in terms of being like product abandonment versus browse abandonment. So be aware of that and make sure that you tell your story there as well. So hopefully that helps. And I'll have my email address at the end of the presentation. I love talking this stuff. I get really geeky and nerdy about it. So look me up on LinkedIn. There's not many Macalusos out there, so hopefully you can find me, and I love engaging with the audience. All right, so campaigns really fast because I've got to switch over to SMS in just a second and talk about the history of SMS. But things to kind of consider as you're building your segment, and all of this should be OR logic. So did someone purchase in the last 12 months, or did they click in the last 6, or did they open in the last 3 with the little asterisk there for iOS 15? We've seen about a 16% adoption rate of that iOS 15. I downloaded it and I saved all of my email marketer friends by saying I'm not going to opt into the privacy piece of it, and then email opt-in date. So if someone's recently opted in, give them an opportunity to actually get your emails, engage with your emails, interact with them before they make that purchase. And then just a quick sample content calendar, and I'll leave this up for a second. So if you want to take a screenshot, because that's a question we get a lot, is I don't know how to create enough content to send emails. And this is where you can kind of stretch things, right? So big sale a month, I send that on the first day of the month. And then maybe a day later, I send a reminder email, hey, the big sale is going to be ending soon. And then, I send a third email that's like, great news, it's been extended. And I'm using the same content, just tweaking the subject line, modifying my segment so I can exclude recent purchasers. Then a week later, I do a new product release. If I run out, or even if I'm not close to running out, maybe I send a reminder email. It's like, whoa, this product's going fast. Make sure you get it before it's gone. Owners' favorites, or I've seen like employees' picks. Something more like kind of on the inside look of the brand. Fourth week, last chance email, and then last one could be blog lifestyle content. Maybe you're not selling anything. Obviously, the fifth email on this list is not going to drive revenue for you. It's not going to be a big money maker, but it's going to create brand trust as you continue to tell that story. All right, so how do we make a memorable experience? People love a story. So just tell a story, connect with your audience, have some fun with it. I love working with merchants that have built a brand from scratch because they have passion for it. And people want to know what that passion is. I was talking to a makeup brand just earlier today, and like one of their biggest sales that they did was on Prime Day. And they just said like Amazon who, and it was a huge success for them because people didn't, and they called it out. They're like, hey, it's the big girl in the room. We're a local business, and they absolutely crushed it, right? Amazon didn't care who they were. They're a blip on the radar, but for them, it was meaningful, and people who bought from them felt good because they were helping take down the giant behemoth. So create that story, connect with your audience. We all are consumers, which is brilliant. The brilliance of being in marketing is we can see both sides of the story. And then just remember, Omnisend does all these things for you: email, SMS, and MMS, web push automations, and we are mobile friendly.